Hello. In this video, I will be giving you a brief tutorial and overview um, in Houdini about how to go about making this chandelier. And this is for skills 2 of CGT 147. All right, so basically, um, I'm not going to be going step by step necessarily because there are a lot of different ways you can achieve the same effect. Um, from what I've found through various video tutorials and people helping me, it's that there really are multiple ways to do what end up achieving the same thing. So I'm just going to give you a couple of methods that I used in order to do this. And yep, so if you're just starting out, maybe this can help you. Okay, so just looking over here in the geometry tree, we'll um, start with the arms. So the arms was the first thing I did, and the first thing that you're going to want to do is create a curve. You can draw a curve any way that you want. Each point represents, a click of the mouse, and so what I did was I just clicked a curve and drew it myself based on the shape of the arm of the chandelier from the reference that was provided for me. And once you've done that, um, you can um, basically resample it and transform it so that you can get a smoother look because obviously the final arm is a lot smoother and has a nicer, more appealing shape to it. Um, so yeah, after you do that a few times, resample will add more points, and then the smooth node will smooth it out for you. And you can adjust the strength of all these things like that. So moving on, you have a sweep node, and essentially what this is going to do is going to add some volume and dimension to the curve that you've created. Um, reverse, I'm not sure why I have two reverses there, but basically you can transform to adjust the position, and then I reversed again. I don't need these two reverses right here, but um, I did it anyway. Just disregard that. Okay, so that all merges into this merge node, which contains um, this sphere shape. And what this is going to be is this is going to be the bowl that sits on top of the arm, each individual arm. So that one sits there like that. Basically what I did was I started out with a sphere. So it starts out like that. And you cut it in half, basically leaving you with just this portion. You can select these faces and cut them out. You can edit it, edit the edges and faces specifically to basically rescale and resize so that you can get the shape that you want. From there, you're going to want to extrude out so that you don't have just a flat, um, one face polygon that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So once you extrude that, you're going to want to smooth it again to give it just, make it less blocky, less chunky, give it a nicer, more appealing shape. And then finally, what you can do is um, transform it, which is in this case just moving it so that it sits nicely on top of the arm there. So once you have one of those created, you can just um, merge it into here, into the same node that the arm goes into. And then we'll move on to the candle. So the candle is just a tube. Transform, move it to right in the center of the bowl, the plate, whatever. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sculpt the the candle so that you can add some kind of convincing wax textures. And so basically, I'm not really going to go into all this, but what you can do is essentially you have the handle right here, and you can just edit and manipulate the shape of this tube so that you can get these dripping wax marks. And this lever right here will adjust the strength of the FD, I guess. I'm not sure what that means. But yep, so then that's pretty simple. After you do that, you're going to want to add, this is up to you really, add another smooth node just to, smooth things out, make it look um, less blocky. And then you're going to want to throw that into the same merge node that you have. So now um, your arm and your plate and your candle are all connected. So, nice. And I got the flame over there. Don't worry about that. It's in a different position because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where your initial positions are for these things, but as long as they all end up um, in the right place is all that matters. So from this merge node that contains all three, we're going to go down to this copy node, and basically this is sort of the big step here, is that once you have this copy node attached to this merge node that has your arm, plate, and candle on it, what you can do is have it so that it's being copied for the amount of times that you want. But this value right here, 360 divided by the channel name NYC, or NCY, sorry, that is going to determine the amount of chandelier arms and chain length that you want. It won't just be, it can, you can have 2 arms, you can have 3, 4, 5, up to 6. And yeah, so that adds some great customization options to Houdini. But you can also achieve this same effect by just putting 360 divided by 6. And what that will do is it will evenly distribute the arms around this orbit right here. So once you've got that, you're going to want to plug this into another merge node. Well, I have it like this just because I have other stuff over here. But from here, we will go into the bowl that kind of sits up top. And this is where all the arms connect to. And so I started with a sphere, and I just adjusted the radius and the size until I had sort of an oval looking shape. And then I chopped off over half of it just so you get that bowl shape, kind of the same process as this plate before. And then you can edit it to, edit the edges. It's not extruding, but I got this really weird shape here. And you can continue to smooth and smooth again, and then extrude. In my case, I did. You can really do any type of shape you want for this. Mine's rather simple. And so once you have an extruded shape like this, you're going to notice that it's kind of empty. You don't really want this, at least I didn't want mine to be like a bowl or a plate shaped. So use the polyfill node, and that will make it a solid polygon. And then smooth that again. And I actually found that this gave me kind of a nice patterned geometrical shape, so I just kept that. And then transform again, just make sure that's all lined up with the arm so it sits nicely on top. And right, yep, so this transform node puts this in the right position. And then this connects to this merge node right here. Okay. So for this tube, okay, so this section is going to be for these added constraints that go onto the candles. So you just start with a simple tube, shape it the way you want, how big, how long. Again, this can be however really you want it to look. There's no kind of set way. From here, I extruded it to give it some more volume. extruded it again at these individual face marks just to, just add some visual flair to it. So you end up getting a shape kind of like this, like a canister looking thing. Copy it, make a second one, put it down below at the base of the chandelier, merge it in here. So you have these nice two restraints kind of keeping all the arms together. I'm going to put that into the merge. Let's do the candle. Okay, so for the candle flame, what you're going to want to do is similarly to how we made the arm, you're going to want to make a curve about half the shape of what you'd think a candle flame looks like. So it's kind of this just simple little curve that can be really however you want it to be, just as long as it looks like a flame. And then what you're going to want to do is, so I guess I moved it over here. Oh, okay. So I moved it over here so that it could sit basically. A second. So that it could sit essentially. I guess it doesn't sit right on top. My mistake. So I took the curve, and when I transformed it, that's when it moved. I moved it over here. So make sure that you're always being aware of basically where your curves are and where they're supposed to be. So that's where I moved the curve. So it's sitting right on top of this candle head. And originally, see how my original curve is right here for the arm, and the bowl was right here too. Technically, if I wanted to be completely clean, I should have put this curve right over here, but I didn't, and that's why it doesn't really matter, because once you have them all copied and placed however you want, you can do it however you'd like. So once you've put it in the position you want, you're going to resample that curve, and that's just going to add more points, giving it a nicer structure. And then what you're going to want to do is use the revolve node, and what that's going to do is revolve the curve that you've made and make it into an actual shape. And this is going to take a little bit of fidgeting. This is where it kind of gets tricky. So the orbit, the axes and the orbit, when you first do this, is going to be all out of whack. And all you have to do is move this, whatever you'd call it, this handle. You're going to move it right into the center of that curve so that it just is revolving around this small area. So as you can see up here, the origin is all different from how it started. So just experiment, mess around with it until you get to the point where you have a shape like this. And then after I have this revolved shape, so that's what it's going to look like. It's going to have these weird, I think they're UVs, but I'm not sure exactly what they are. But after that, you're going to want to smooth it again if you want. Just give it a nicer teardrop sort of shape. And then one final thing you're going to want to do for this flame is just use a reverse node, just so that Houdini registers that this is the outside of the flame, and that this is the way that it should be facing. Okay, great. So once you have that flame all set up, you're going to want to merge this into this node, or whatever node, just so that you can basically keep it linked to the original original four objects you had. So you have the arm, plate, candle, now the flame. And this flame is not in the right place, but it doesn't matter. So I think from there, got the thing all done. And so once you've copied it, everything will be in the right place. This merges into here. All right, and the final thing I will talk about is the chain. And the way the chain starts is start with the torus, which is just a simple shape that's already in Houdini. And then you just move the torus so that it's basically halfway in, halfway out of the top piece of the whatever you'd call it, the chandelier. I mean, the chandelier. This top piece, I don't know what it's called, but basically put your torus so that it's coming right out, and then just merge that to it. This is going to be where the chain connects to. Okay, and so for the actual chain pieces, I'll just go over here. This is the way I did it. Not sure if this is the most efficient way, but this is the way I did it. I started with a box, and this will be kind of hard to explain without just going through it. You start with a box, and that's just a simple polygonal shape. I'll take the handle off. And then you're going to want to edit the box so you can add divisions and change the size and do whatever so that it kind of has a shape like this. And a good way to edit the shape would be to convert to selection and then go to point selection. And so now you have that original box. You can just, select individual points and, select all these, select all them. Doesn't matter. Basically, you can manipulate it to get a shape like this. So once I had that, I created another box, a smaller one, with the same shape, basically, but slightly smaller. So you have, what you will end up having is you will have your original box like this, and then you will have another one, and it's important that this is how it's really looking. You really want to follow this as closely as you can. So you have two shapes basically merged with each other. So you have this, you have this box, which you made, and then you have this one, which is coming right through the first one. And so from here, the important part of doing this is then you're going to plug both of these boxes into a Boolean function. And what that's going to do is it's just going to subtract whichever shape from whichever one you want. So you're left with the excess, and it kind of looks like a chain link. So that is basically the logic behind it, is that you're going to delete the intersecting shape, and it's going to take the mesh that it collides with it. So you're left with the excess removal. And that is the purpose of a Boolean function anyway. So after that, once you have that shape, you're going to smooth it out. Transform, move it to wherever it needs to be, which is the top up here. And then you can see in relation to that, just convert the selection to primitive. So you're going to want to move it so that it's right in this torus that we made earlier, right? So it's chained up with that. And then what you're going to want to do is, almost done here, you're just going to want to copy so you come from here, you have this up in the right position, and then just add a copy node. And once you have that, I did 6 chain links, and all you got to do is take one, rotate it the opposite 90 degrees, and then just readjust it so that it's sitting at the top. And then if you hit, however many you want, it should adjust and duplicate them in the same position. So you shouldn't have to keep rotating them. But your mileage may vary. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's pretty much a brief overview of what I did. You're probably going to run into issues with this especially if you're brand new to Houdini, but just stick with it and look for any resources that you can find, and you'll figure it out. All right, great. Thanks for watching.